Hello, everyone! Welcome to Highway to the Pizza Party 5. The admins were throwing y'all a pizza party. Everyone, line up. Don't worry, there's a pizza buffet with all your favorites.
Yay, pizza!
Yay, pizza! I promise there are absolutely no killer pizza animatronics here.
I was promised killer pizza animatronics.
I mean, I'm sure we could probably just, make a... Like, can we ring the tables and just make the pizza animatronics fight each other? Does that count?
If I'd known there was a pizza party today, I would have actually brought some.
I know. Bojack was trying to figure out how to assemble a pizza based off of what he had in the pantry. Please tell.
It's very difficult to get stuff when it's just after 1 o'clock in the morning.
We were trying to decide whether or not you could use a biscuit as your pizza base.
But is that an American biscuit or a UK biscuit?
I don't know.
Does it matter in the end?
I think it matters at least a little bit. Also, bless our mods for putting the poll up. Do you like pineapple on your pizza? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
I'm cool with it. But anyway, I think that what we actually need to be cool with is our amazing runners here. I'm going to turn it all over to y'all, and I hope y'all enjoy the race. Have fun.
Hey, we've got a race.
Well, I think we've got
pizza.
Pizza, racing. Everybody gets pizza after the race. And speaking of our racers tonight, we have got Elvensorrow and drcossack facing off with a Dark Knight Cecil start. What do you think of this matchup tonight, Poydrak?
Two very high caliber runners. Might see some fireworks going off. All really depends on what we find and where our bosses are. We've got Football Gauntlet and Golbez as normal. We've got Karate, Calbrenna, Rubicante, Pale Dim, D-Luna's Kenyatso. So a fair mix of fairly difficult bosses actually there in some places.
Yeah, I think right now, we all know that there's crystal swords somewhere in the seed. It's every chest you don't open. But D-Lunars definitely will go down very quickly to a holy sword. But some of these bosses in a rough location can definitely be very scary.
Yeah, but as much as Cecil can do a lot, double Cecil, there you go. He still needs a little bit of backup, and a starting white mage in Porum, you will take that along with a lot of other things.
Absolutely. A white mage in this flag set is not guaranteed. So to start with a Porum, Porum's great. Porum learns exit naturally. And even though she takes a lot more experience to get up to Cure 4, white mage is a white mage.
Yeah. You can never discount the amount of utility a white mage gives you. Berserk, Blink, just playing cures, that exit spell, they're all useful.
And
speaking of utility, well, Edward is a perfect utility character.
Yeah, he's perfect for yeeting off the top of towers. But actually, that Tella is one of those characters that you like to find early, can help you with a grind, can even starts with Blink, and now you've got a Cecil, now you've got a Tella, you want to go up that ordeals. Nobody's fading that spot.
No, and as many memes as there are about Edward, we still do have the opportunity of finding a spoon and him doing very well with it. how much are we going to use him? Sort of depends on the rest of the party members and having a Rosa along for the ride. Very, very white mage heavy right now.
Yeah, Rosa is definitely the more preferred of the two white mages there in Porum and Rosa. Learns Cure 4 significantly earlier. I would think unless we find very certain characters after this, we might not be using that Porum, but that was a Stardust Rod.
Yeah, Teller is actually going to do quite a bit of work with that Stardust Rod on his own. So, yes, Cecil isn't exactly the powerhouse start until you really get him up ordeals. And to be honest, we haven't really found a whole lot for anyone to give that power start. So that Stardust Rod might be our best damage option at the moment.
Stardust Rod, definitely a great item. You can use it to cast Stardust. And it does not worry about the character's wisdom or will stat. It is just a set damage amount that does enough damage to just hurt things.
Can do around 500 to 800 damage to everything on the enemy side of the field, which in these early days of the seed, very, very useful. Never mind, there's our damage. there's a little bit more damage found.
And elvensorrow, having done the full dip of Watery Pass, did find a Murasame for that edge, so definitely being rewarded for taking a little more time to open these boxes.
Dr. Cossack did find a long katana in the back of the Watery Pass, so he's not too out of it, but having Murasame a long will definitely boost elvensorrow a little bit. Plus there's that Zeus Gauntlet that was also found in the bag there. This edge is going to do some work.
And we see Dr. Cossack heading into Troya Castle, gonna go check that bedward. Bedward is, our free item is on in this flag set, and you don't have to worry about that demist. And that is a pan.
That's nice to find early, because that gives you a lot of opportunity. Once we've found the hook and gone through our hook route out to get underground, that's an instant free key item checks. And although we're looking for bosses, sometimes we do need to get to those bosses through key items.
Now, if you are our runners, Poydrak, if you were to find a hook, say here in this antlion cave, do you just skip Fabul until after getting underground?
Possibly, but there has been a little bit of contention about that, because we do have to go through the hook route. We don't know what's down there, and there are a lot of bosses that you don't want to meet. And Fabul has a fairly high amount of experience gain, especially if you've got to do it after going up ordeals to get that Cecil up a little bit extra.
Well, and that Mylon, definitely not a threat. Whereas we see, oh, that is a required Golbez taking a shower there in the waterfall. This is interesting.
Yeah, not the most damaging spot in terms of magic, but it is a very fast spot. So as long as you can get a Starvel up, you should be fine for Golbez to finish himself off. Meanwhile, Dr. Cossack did find the Baron Key, which seems to be the solution to a lot of problems in both the Blue Moon and the Red Moon in the Antlion Caves, so could be a trip there in the future.
Yep, that is another 3 boss locations. We do know that one of those is just the Dark Knight Cecil, which is not required on this the seed, but 2 hidden bosses, one of which could hold your underground access.
Yeah, well, yeah, the boss on the Baron Throne could be our hook. The Odin Throne definitely can't, but doesn't mean there's not a required boss down there.
Now,
And
Dr. Cossack,
Yarn.
yeah, that's a little disrespectful to Porum.
Maybe, but with the Power Claw, Poison Claw helps there. With the outlook of this particular team, it's very much a berserking team. You want as much power in your hits as possible, and yeah, Yarn doesn't bring it early, but you're going to have that later.
Yeah, and if we find that darkness crystal, we just send everybody to the moon on their levels. Yang, just a pile of HP. You don't have to worry about him getting hit by a big bang or, say, a wave attack from Keinazo.
No, but is that Teller going to survive on 1 hit point before the officer runs away?
Sure looking like it.
Teller, the ultimate survivor. Not something we say every day.
That Tella was like Galoof, and he was just too angry to die.
Well, I don't blame him. His own team was trying to do him in.
And here we have another required boss in the Calbrana dolls. While it's going to take a while to get through all of their hits, this would be a great place for that Stardust Rod.
Stardust Rod or Edge's Flame Attack. Yeah, this shouldn't be too bad. I'm not too sure if the flame will kill the back dolls in this particular spot, so we might see a big doll. We'll see.
Hopefully, we can get enough damage off here to... Rosa, please. You need to hit the boss.
Yep, here comes the big doll. Yeah, unfortunately, the back row bit, except for Edge, is not enabled on any character, so everyone's having a bit of a hard time hitting. And Rosa in the back row naturally, and as we've seen, so many people have missed Teller.
And we see elvensorrow actually giving us a little bit of a cheeky check here in one of the hidden chocobo forests. That's such a strange chocobo forest to me.
It serves no purpose whatsoever, but if you find something good, because the chocobo forests do give a little bit of a higher grade of item on occasion, all the more power to you.
But Dr. Cossack heading in here into the transformation room. Cecil's going to transform into his magical girl persona. Tella's going to transform into his less terrible persona. And that's a hook.
Well, we know where we know we've got underground access now. It sort of comes back to the decision that you mentioned earlier. Do we do for ball now and wait for the hook route, or do we go for the hook route, get underground, and then hand in that pan? We do have the Baron key, so if there is any sort of question about levels or experience wanted, the Baron key can help shore that up, as well as possibly some trap chests in Castle Eblin.
And And John Burkhead pointing out with that Tella, a darkness crystal at Fabul could be very dangerous, especially if one character or one player checks it and the other doesn't, because that you have everything you need at this point for a D machine grind. And as we've been told and shown much in this tournament, grind early, grind often.
Yeah, it's a danger, but it's really, I don't think it's too big of one. And I'm not too sure why. I can't really put it into words, I don't think. But I don't think a D machine grind is really too much of a danger as it normally is, because of the way that sirens are available. Oh, and egg grinds have been quite popular.
That's very true. And with this edge, you are guaranteed sirens. Even if they aren't in shops, you can go steal them from the trap chests there in the Tower of Eblin, Tower of Babel. There we go, Tower of Babel.
Well, it's close enough to Eblin. We'll go with it. Dr. Cossack is choosing to ignore the Baron key and ignore Fabul. Going down here might be just to have a quick check of who the boss is, get some information and know how much power he's needing to get through this place. But the looting sort of tells otherwise.
Might just be getting these 3 chests to get a little bit of money. Check the item shop if you've got your hourglasses, your sirens, your Bacchus. That was a big shop.
Bacchus wine's definitely the big thing there. Silk webs as well, so don't need to worry about casting the slow spell. Well, silk webs can do the job just as well. And nothing really else apart from that. A lot of J consumables, J healing consumables, which really don't do a whole lot, unfortunately.
And we see on elvensorrow side, I believe he does have that Mura equipped, and his flame spell taking out those dolls in just one hit, picking up a little bit of time, not having to worry about the big doll transformation.
Yeah, Murasame giving 5 additional wisdom. Definitely a little bit of a getting a bit of time back in that particular fight. And here's the Staleman. Definitely not the kind of pizza you want. It's a bit crusty.
But that Ogre Axe is going to hit a weakness, although the Stalemen do know who the problem is, going after that edge. But this does give a chance of, I believe, a tier 7 or 8. You could pull a crystal sword out of this.
Yeah, a little bit of experience for that Cecil. Not really too much wanted here, because it's only 4,200 experience, which would be doubled for Cecil because he's only level 1 compared to the rest of the party. But it's not a great deal. You really wanted something a bit bigger.
And these Stalemen just not having it today. And looks like Dr. Cossack is just going to instead go for the Eblin Castle play.
Yeah, Stalemen are rude. They like to sleep your character. Usually straight after they've hit, you've done an attack, they'll attack you, which means you're pretty much guaranteed to be slept. They don't like you.
Yeah, Stalemen are one of those cheekily rude, just not boss, but trap chests, because when it goes well, it goes great. But all it takes is just you get 2 or 3 characters sleeping, and they have no mercy.
Of course, having a couple of Zeus gauntlets will definitely help, since Zeus gauntlets do protect against giants, which Stelmen are. So a little bit of extra defense doesn't prevent the sleep, though.
And elvensorrow, taking a little bit of a different path, gonna come here at Baron Inn, finds Valvalus, which thankfully we have melee characters, because this is one of the worst spots to find Valvalus on the overworld if you have magic characters, because she does get max, well, if anybody could hit her, max magic resist.
Yeah, she gets a lot of defense evades as well, but because we found so much strength gear for that edge which he's equipped, he's able to punch through that. And Bahamut. Time to count backwards. Slowly. Maybe.
Yeah, Bahamut, this is a spot that is extremely slow with that edge. Edge has got places to go, things to do. Just gonna hit this this Bahamut very, very hard. I don't even think we're going to see, no, we're not even gonna see 4.
Well, at least Bahamut knew what number of the highway to the Zemus Zone we're in.
And only getting a Charm Rod. Unfortunately, just a complete zonk in terms of bosses and of key items. But does still have the Baron Key, so could be heading there next. Just take that out very quickly, and looks like, yeah, gonna head down to the Baron Sewer.
Yeah, it makes sense to do them both at the same time. You've got the Baron Key, you might as well just do them both. If Dr. Cossack has had a little bit of a tough time in both Cave Oblana and Castle Eblin with the Lamias and Black Cats at this point with Charm. So elvensorrow is getting back a little bit, but it's really the two paths are a bit divergent. We can't really say which path has been better yet, since elvensorrow has done a lot more looting compared to Dr. Cossack.
Now, we'll see what Dr. Cossack gets from this trap chest. Just a sorcerer robe. Good piece of equipment, great for that Rosa. Not a big shiny holy stick.
No. Still looking for that one, but a couple of other trap chests still here, and this place does like to hide them.
And we see elvensorrow taking on this Dark Knight Cecil. Not a big concern with our two beefy berserkers. Has enough HP and manages to get both lives off, so everybody gets XP except for the person you don't want it to.
Yeah, the speed of edge is really what facilitated that double life of getting both the white mages up. So very well played on elvensorrow's side. Every little bit of experience does count at this early stage.
And Dr. Cossack, having found the Mad Ogre's chest, this is either some people's favorite or least favorite trap chest. I actually really like this chest because there's so many ways to handle these Mad Ogres. And they don't do blaster and murder your characters. And especially with an ogre axe, this is just, they melt like butter.
Yeah, Ogre Axe helps here. The two Zeus gauntlets help here because the Mad Ogres are classed as giants as well, so they take so you can't get hit as hard. So yeah, all good from this.
And elvensorrow finding more value. We get our sad doot 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 doot. In Pale Dim, this is a required boss. I'm gonna have actually 3 on the board before even heading down that hook route.
Yeah, bosses are coming pretty fast and fast here. Obviously, we've still got to get at 7 out of the 8, but having 3 before going underground is a fairly fast start. Usually you only get about 1 or 2.
And that's a big shiny stick. It's not a crystal sword, but it is a crystal sword light, and that is good enough.
Lightsaber.
Actually, it was an Excalibur.
Oh, that one. The one no one really likes to talk about.
I mean, it's not a terrible sword, but looks like Dr. Cossack gonna follow this same route that Elven has taken. Gonna go ahead and equip that Excalibur. We'll see if he also does Baron Castle.
Meanwhile, elvensorrow has got through that Pale Dim, looks around, sees no one's coming to save them, even though they don't need saving, except maybe from these walls.
I didn't know water stopped walls.
Well, I guess.
I can't. Only finding a legend sword, though.
Well, legend sword isn't great on its own, but if we find an adamant, we might get a look at our super smith items today. Maybe.
And Elven making the check here to see if it's a free boss, if it's a required boss. Likely won't be able to take it out at these levels unless it is completely free, but having that knowledge of if I need to come back here or not is actually very, very good.
So who do we have? Not exactly a easy boss, but it's not exactly dangerous either in that particular spot.
The biggest issue with that spot is it is very fast, and so those punches are going to come out very quickly, and then you have to wait.
Yeah, the waiting is the hard part in that particular fight. The hits aren't really that strong, but you're just going to be into miss phase so quickly. It's an annoying fight more than a dangerous fight.
And speaking of annoying fights, we did see the orbs there in Mist Cave. One of those fights that you are glad not to have to fight somewhere with a lot more HP. So Elven does just leave it behind.
We have got rid of a few of the more dangerous options on the table so far. We've got Pale Dim in a punchy spot can really do damage against you. We've seen in Val was in a pretty tame location, and this time around we've seen and know where Golbez is. But we have also really got a few of the more dangerous, some of the more free bosses off the table. Both sets of guards are gone. On the Kalbrenner was in a fairly easy location, and so we still don't know what is at the Rubicante a spot in the hook route, but it's looking about even for it to be something big or something easy, really.
Yeah, our runners would definitely like to see something like maybe the Yang. The Yang would be free. but would not like to see the turtle. Turtle there is painful and hurtful.
Yeah, especially for, well, maybe not for, yeah, actually, going back on myself, yeah, for this set of runners, because the initial wave can do up to around about 800 damage. That's a fair amount. And even for having a Yang in the team and a Cecil, who they both gain a decent amount of hit points early on. But Cossack wasting no time with Paladin though. That defense sword, don't need it anymore. It's gone.
Nope. When you have something as nice as an Excalibur, a defense sword just seems sad.
A good throwable material.
Yes. And while our runners are kind of rehashing each other's steps, I just want to take a moment to shout out our behind the scenes team. We have Scala Kitty putting on the restream and Dubward pushing all those buttons and just keeping track of everything that's going on here so that me and my wonderful co-commentator Poydrak can just talk about this great seed.
Yeah. And remember, Scala Kitty is currently taking orders for pizza. If you want some, you need to get in contact with her.
I want a pizza. But Elvensorrow finding the second trap chest here in Eblin Castle, while Dr. Cossack wisely making the choice to check these two free locations, will hopefully shortly find his Golbez and quickly dispatch the older brother who has jokes.
We're going to be conversion and being pretty even, and because this Golbez fight is going to take a little while to get through, while Elvensorrow has got one more fight to go in Castle Eblin and to get there, so going to be sort of even around the time they're going to go underground.
And there is no guarantee that either of our decent fighters survive this. If we are stuck with a Tella and a Yang, well, okay, Yang's gone. I think we're safe now.
Yeah, Cecil can take pretty much anything that Golbez throws now. The Lip Freeze can only do a maximum of about 350 in this particular location, so yeah, Cecil's fine.
And it's just nice to see the power couple. Oh, she lives.
And Excal does Excal things.
But Elvensorrow, finding this wonderful shop here, decides, let's sell everything. I love to do this in a shop because when you don't know what's going on exactly, you keep a lot of junk. And sometimes you just want as many Bacchuses as, yes, that's...
20? Seems good.
Yeah, I've bought 70 before, but I also had more money than I knew what to do with.
Well, when you've got more money than you know what to deal with, Bacchus wines is a very nice investment because, well, let's face it, if you're not going to use it, at least you've got to drink later.
And what's even funnier is we have two characters, actually, looks like 3 characters on Elven's side that can at some point cast Berserk. So
yeah, getting Cecil and Edge zerked up early is going to work wonders. But on Dr. Cossack's side, he's got the same, as well as Yarg, who is still a little bit underpowered because of the way his power curve is. But Barkus wind up hitting weaknesses. He can do some real damage.
And both players did pick up a cat claw in Eblin Castle, so that is Yang's best weapon. Does give him 15 strength, and can put things to sleep, which is surprisingly useful on some things.
Avoiding the Stalemen this time, Dr. Cossack is. So, yep, going to be finding out that Mylon and Friends is our boss at Rubiconte. Rubiconte Spot is not going to be afraid of this. Same with elvensorrow. Going to look at this and go, well, this is just a matter of getting through the counterattacks. How can I get through this quickly?
Yep, as long as you take down those ghasts that are with him, with a Excalibur will be absolutely no problem. This second boss here is going to be easy, and there are Dark Imps in the first spot, so this is another one of those free fights that you would have liked to see somewhere else.
Well, free, but considering this spot has one of the highest attack powers in the game, and there's 3 of them, yeah, free, very big quotation mark.
Oh, it'll be fine. Just put that Cecil at the back row, right?
Yeah, it should be. Doesn't mean they're still not going to hit him hard, but he should be able to take out the Dark Imps one by one with the Excal.
And since this spot gives no experience, there's really not a big deal if your Rosa and your Porum and your Edge, if they all go down. And I do believe that Dr. Cossack found a crystal armor, so this Cecil going for cover strats.
At least to start off with. They might see a Berserk come out, but might also see Stone.
Can you land it, Tella? He lands it! Yay! Go, Tella!
So both through the fight about even, and took elvensorrow wipe there and reset. So neck and neck going into this Mylon fight. No save, let's go. I think elvensorrow might have a little bit of advantage here because of the Barkus wines. I don't think Dr. Cossack really bought any, so this is just going to be a little bit quick on his side. And having Demis come out with a Cecil, that's not too bad.
That's probably more damage than Demis has ever done in a summon.
It's close. You have to remember that there have been apple seeds out there given to Vidia and let her cast Demis when she's got 9,999 health. Does a fair amount.
Yeah, I can see that.
It is pretty specific though.
But both our runners now just have the Mylon here. We're not going to get any angry ghasts just punching you into next week. Just a lot of lit 1 counters, which take time.
And when you've got an overflowing abundance of Barkus wines, what do? You give some to poor.
I mean, it's Friday.
Any little bit of damage, yeah, lit one counters take a little bit, but they're not dangerous. And sometimes you just don't want Porum actually doing that. Okay. Seems odd to Berserk and then do that when you could just Berserk Edge as well, but
Might have been a mismenu and doesn't want to take all of those lit one counters. Totally understandable. Like we've never accidentally berserked our white mage in a fight before.
I'm not looking around my room in complete obliviousness at what you just said.
Well, how else do you quint?
You don't take white mages to that? You just get a load of Barkus wines?
That works too.
In any case, Mylon is sort of giving elvensorrow a little bit of the runaround around here, but the fight seems in hand. Drcossack, though, three people hitting and a little bit quicker than an elvensorrow could bring out, so he will be into the underground about 30 seconds quicker.
But you can just see how close both these runners are, having done pretty much all the same checks. And we see a Rubicant sprite at the top of tower. And now that could be either Rubicant or it could be elements. And one of those is required.
You're not really too afraid of either up there, but the knowledge that one of them is up there, I think you're just going to hold it for the moment. We don't have the tower key, and you don't really want to go up there to get the dud that is elements. So maybe you can get a little bit of information elsewhere if you find the other Rubicante sprite boss, and you can go back to that if you need to.
Yep, or if you find a tower key in one of these free checks coming up, definitely makes that tower play a lot more viable. Nobody wants to climb the tower just to find the tower key in the free Fey merge chest or bonking Yang with the pan.
Yeah. Which both of our runners are doing, just in separate instances. Drcossack going to Feymarch and elvensorrow going to hit Yang over the head. Wind Harp for Drcossack. Music.
I mean, everybody here likes music, right?
For the most part, yeah. Also found coffins in the shop. That's quite nice. We found a lot of the bosses that you really want to use them on those, so they're not as required as some other cases.
Really, the only other bosses I can think that you might want to use them on is the Alt Gauntlet. I don't know that we have any other bosses that are susceptible.
Trying to go through my head, and you're probably right. I can't think of too many. We've seen both sets of guards. We've seen the Dark Imps. And we've seen Calbrenna, even though I don't think you can use all the use coffins on them anyway.
And we see elvensorrow moving his hovercraft and gonna go check Sheila 1 and 2, while Drcossack gonna give us our first look at the king and queen spot here.
One's required. There's our karate. Now, can Cecil survive long enough to get the hit?
I don't think so right now.
If he doesn't get targeted, yes. But you can never underestimate the danger of the board AI.
Well, and that mom bomb is going to be miserable.
Yeah, it's in one of those spots where you're very unlikely to actually do all the damage and the extra amount, unless you're severely over leveled. So that's one you definitely want to go back to if you can avoid it if you can.
And on elvensorrow's side, Anna is calling us all loves because we love everyone in this community. Y'all are fantastic, and this is another free fight off the table.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few of them, haven't we?
If they have to go to the moon, yeah. If we have to go to the moon, this is gonna be fun.
So we've got a definite sighting of 4 bosses, possible sighting of 5 if Rubicante is at the top of the tower. That leaves 2 more before a potential YOLO of checking that Rubicante.
And just an hourglass from the King of Fabul, and a Sayad Ruby, and a pass.
We can go heal the piggy.
I don't think we're going to heal the piggy, which
I
is
know,
sad.
but it would be nice. Please go and do it sometime. Please.
Absolutely. For those who might not be super familiar with this flag set, we do have See No Earned on, which means you cannot get characters from any gated spots. But something's got to be there, so we have our friends the pigs. The pigs make happy noises, sleepy noises, oinking noises. If you want to talk to the pigs, they are precious.
elvensorrow going off to Dwarf Castle. Another one of our new checks. Are we going to find sirens in the shop, or are we going to find something different? There's our sirens.
Sirens are a great find. At this point, oh, there's an Excalibur there. At this point,
yeah, elvensorrow hasn't actually equipped that Excalibur yet. That might be why he wasn't doing as much damage in the Mylon fight as he might have expected.
And that is an Odin there in the first spot. Not the worst, but you still don't want to see his Vansketten.
Yeah, this is a finicky spot. Oh, it hits hard. It's got a high magic. It's fairly fast. If you don't have a really good anchoring situation, well, if you have a really good anchoring situation, he's fast. If you don't, if you have a moderate one, he's okay, and if you have a fast one, he's fast again. So it's a finicky spot, but it's not something that can't be overcome. Especially when you've got 2 characters in Edge and Cecil who can dish out the damage that's required.
And I think, yeah, this Tella not even getting that that virus off is going to be still standing and pick up a little bit more XP.
elvensorrow does have options though. Edward and Yang are in the Tower of Wishes if necessary for later. Yang is the more obvious choice with a base of 8 agility, but Edward can do the job as well with his 9.
And
boss number 5. Confirmed boss number 5. Oh, gauntlet in the gold bed spot.
This is one of those spots that is not hard, but it's rude because the spot has so little HP, and now you have to go through 5 fights.
But you do gain more experience overall. Not by too much. I think it's only an extra 10,000, but it's still pretty significant.
Definitely, especially with these characters at the levels they're at, an extra 10,000 can be the difference between your Cure 3 and not having Cure 3.
Yeah, and we are aiming for what really looks like 2 berserkers, as in Edge and Cecil, and the 2 healers in Purim and Rosa. Teller is there.
Tella's doing his job to make sure that Edge can try and go first and get these flames off. Except he's just a little too fast now.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. We know that Dr. Cossack has a cursed ring. I'm not too sure if elvensorrow has one that's now on Teller, but we'll have to keep an eye out in the inventory for that.
Does turn out that Tella is weak to Crystal Sword, or not Crystal Sword, Excalibur, as are most everything else.
Except that Mom Bomb?
Well, and that D-Mist.
Yeah. And we still do need to find the Darkness Crystal somewhere along the line.
Not necessarily. We still got enough boss. We got enough boss spots open down here. If we find some gating key items.
Right. Yeah, and we've got to pass. Yeah, we only need the one boss now. If Rubicon is at the top of the tower, we could be in go mode sooner than anyone expects.
And both our runners do have the Luca key, but both have that Tella, so can warp to get the Luca key item. But there is a boss looming down there. Is it the one you need?
I really see this as, yeah, you're going to go and warp into the key item location, and then you're going to make the check just to see if it's something that you need for the boss. If it's not, you can just reset out and get and really save no time.
But here comes the warp.
Well, it's a boss check. You can't just leave it there.
And I actually didn't see what we got from the actual dwarf item pickup.
Urasame.
I mean, it's good for Edge.
Yeah. Do we count that as actual reward or cursed item? No.
Armadillos did nothing wrong.
Yeah, we'll just say, hey, the armadillos have given him a cursed item.
And we see now that we are going to be taking on some eggs here. Wow. Elfin wanted nothing to do with that Murasame.
Well, I guess that's one way to use it.
The disrespect. I'm here for it.
Me too. Now Cecil can actually do the work of killing the eggs properly with the Excalibur. Does only have 7 key items, so this is a little bit of a slower grind because of that. But you don't really need a whole lot of experience on this particular team. I mean, as long as Rose has got Cure 4 and Cecil and Edge have got a fair amount of levels, you're good. Level 45 might be the stopping point for this.
Well, and I do wonder if Elvin is just going to pop a few eggs to get enough HP to survive that Yang, and then kind of go from there, since we are only at 7 key items. This is significantly slower than, of course, the alternative, whereas Dr. Cossack going to equip that Murasame because hasn't found anything better than that longsword.
Yeah, elvensorrow did find a Murasame in Watery Pass that Dr. Cossack didn't quite reach.
But Dr. Cossack also having his package, we'll see if he wants to do an egg grind or wants to go check one of these other spots that is still open.
We'll have to see. With Cecil in the back, I think he can survive with the Yang fight pretty well, but no one else is going to. Well, depends on who gets hit, but yeah, I think he, the fight against the Karate fight is now possible. It's just when do you want to do your whole grind now or not?
Does seem like elvensorrow is spending a little more time, so I think he might be taking this Rosa up to Cure 4.
Definitely a good threshold to get to. Gets her to a decent amount of hit points, around about now 16 to 1700. Cecil will be about 2200 hit points. Edge around 2000. Porum's going to be lacking, but you expect that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Porum definitely missed out on XP and spells, but we're going to get a look at this leg here. Is this quarter leg or is this full leg and another objective?
Yeah, this will tell us what Dr. Cossack is likely going to do next as well. This is the elements, so I'm surprised he's not just resetting out of it. But then again, we haven't found darkness crystals. That could be a way to our bosses still.
Yep, a darkness crystal, an earth crystal, a tower key, a rat tail. Still a lot of gating key items out there, so you don't want to just leave this hanging and your opponent pick it up and find something immediately on the moon or in one of those other locations.
If this is a dud though, and not one of the good key items that we need to move on, this will be a reset, because the experience you get here is not meaningful enough, considering we've got sirens.
But what if it's a crystal sword?
Maybe kept. But maybe not, because you do have an X-Scout.
But elvensorrow gonna take on this Yang, just needs to survive a couple of kicks, a couple of hits, and will be able to bring the monk back to his senses.
That was a full moon. And he's walking it out. I'm a little bit surprised at that.
Maybe is fond of that experience. Did Dr. Cossack check the shop and pick up those sirens?
I would expect so, but I don't have full knowledge, so maybe not.
And Karate, just being a crystal shield, looks like gonna go ahead and take out this mom bomb as well, not saving in between.
The fight against the karate isn't that dangerous. As you can get through that fairly easily. This one's a much more dangerous fight, and if this goes wrong, this will be the first fight on the comeback.
Did bring down that battle speed. Gonna drink those Bacchus wines. Definitely putting those purchases to use.
The amount of strength gear that Cecil has is ridiculous. Bypassing Mom Bomb's holy strength and still doing nigh on 4,000 with each hit. Yeah, Cecil's just a beast right now.
Now, doesn't even get to the explode phase. Goes ahead, takes it out. And is this our progression?
It is a darkness crystal. Now, here's the question. Do you go to the moon knowing that twin harp is still there and that package is still there, or do you check them first?
I would suspect that Elvin is going to go to the tower first and see who's up there, because if that was your sixth objective, you just face check everything.
Yeah. With the darkness crystal in hand, once he sees this as elements, I will be very surprised if he stays up there and fights it.
And Dr. Cossack is going to do a little bit of an egg grind. We'll see how high he wants to get his characters, although there's Cure 4 on that Rosa. Cure 4 is good enough for most all fights until you get really far into the game.
And taking a trip down to the southern area of the map before going back to the Baymage. I guess that would pull up.
Look, I know exactly how to get everywhere exactly one way. I will take an entire trip around the world just to find my way underground. And sometimes you forget where Feymarch is.
Yeah. The amount of times I've bypassed one place to go somewhere completely different and then had to exit again and go where I was meant to be is way too common.
Is that like going into the kitchen for something out of the refrigerator and having to get up 3 more times to do the same thing?
Yes. Very much so.
There's your reset, though. Elvensorrow is heading back up to the overworld, so I would think we're going to go see a moon dive.
Yeah. Here comes the big whale. Might just raise it and just to have it raised and then go and check the other ones, but that's really uncommon, honestly.
And Dr. Cossack taking on this bomb as well. Going to get his darkness crystal. So still keeping that very close behind Elvensorrow. I did not see if he's done karate or not, but that fight is extremely fast, extremely free. So once he gets through this, he'll be in the same situation that Elvensorrow is in, with knowing what he has available.
Yeah. Dr. Cossack did go straight into the mum bomb fight. Karate will happen after this, which, yeah, he knows that the fight is free. Do the one that's not quite as big up before that. He will be happy to see the darkness crystal, though.
Yep, and Elvensorrow, going straight to the moon, not going to mess with Giant, is going to check cave value. This is a nice check because you can see the boss before you go all the way down. So, can see if it's something you need, if it's a sparkle, if it's a turtle. Turtle would be interesting here. Rubicante is interesting here.
E-Lunars is also interesting because the magic power is so low. You can let them have their virus phase and put up their walls. The walls won't last long enough, and they virus themselves, basically.
But that was just a dark elf. We don't need a dark elf. So gonna leave him there to get as far away from that awful music as he can.
Well, if you don't want to hear music in Cave Magnus, going to the moon and taking over Bahamut's lair is a pretty good move.
Well, I mean, Bahamut just left it there and went to hang out and have a drink at Baron Inn, so it's free, right?
Yeah, I have a drink with Valorous. Maybe it was a date.
They would make a cute couple. And Elvensorrow gonna go do top down, whereas Dr. Cossack says, I don't want to leave this Luca he hanging. If this is one of my bosses, my opponent may not check this.
It is a very off-the-wall check, but we have seen a lot of bosses there before. We'll see if it pays off for Dr. Cossack. Nope, to that rope.
Yeah, let's not.
Yeah, Ogopogo, rude, almost anywhere. Strangely enough, sometimes his best location to find him is in his vanilla spot. Finding him on the on the Peldim spot, that hits slightly harder.
Yeah, and I suspect Elvin is going to head straight down, do the triple check, the ribbon room, the white spear altar, and the Ogopogo spot. I can never remember if that's a Mura or a Mazamune.
Mazamune.
Somebody taught me a mnemonic for that, and I promptly forgot it, so... But gonna do the 3 checks before maybe heading to the ribbon room, because the ribbon room takes time to get to. Not the ribbon room, the crystal sword altar.
Yeah, and since you're looking at your face checking bosses, you go to the one with more options at this moment in time. Moment of truth for Dr. Cossack. Womp womp.
That's just an Ashura. So Luca Key is a bust. And we'll see if he is going to check any of these other overworld checks. We do have Twin Harp and Package open to us.
Definitely moving off in a different direction. But did he check and find Demis down here? Because that... Or was that just elvensorrow that did that?
I think it might have only been elvensorrow, so gonna find this Demist. We'll see if he sticks around and takes it on. Whereas that's a Baigan. No.
Hi, gone. And the other one is... Oh, well. This
looks familiar.
Yeah. Very much required, very much vanilla. And very much weak to Excalibur.
Yeah, have you met our friend Bacchuswine? is going to be a little rude in that going to cast fire doing, I believe, a quarter of your health. But with 2 white mages, you can cast Cure 3, you can cast Cure 4. You are not concerned.
Well, they're currently in virus. The fires were just queued, so the viruses are going to come out and do a fair amount of damage next. Magic, because it's the moon. Magic stat is high, but as long as it doesn't go on to Cecil, this fight is going to be fine.
Y'all know you could hit the same target, right?
What's the fun in that?
But Dr. Cossack also heading up to the moon, gonna do the cave value check as well. Likely going to go ahead and just nope right out of that, but that is a edge that goes down.
Yeah, these viruses are no joke. For hitting in 1500 to 1700 damage, when you only have one character that can really stand up to them in all cases, it's a problem sometimes.
And there's the exit on Dr. Cossack's side, but we do see one of these D-lunars going down. Hopefully it's just one more swing. It is. They managed to perfectly split the damage. And those D-lunars are down. That is another objective on the board for Elvensorrow.
One more boss left, Cagnazzo or Rubicante. And there's a couple of darts for Edge. A couple of potent darts, actually.
Yeah, if I see, say, Rubicante down here at the Ogopogo spot, I'm throwing that spoon. If I see Cagnazzo down here, I'm throwing that spoon.
Yeah, that spoon and that white spear both are pretty good options right now.
Nobody's getting the Bard. Nobody is getting Edward up to Z levels. Edward is for yeeting off a tower.
So for Dr. Luge, yeah, you don't want to see him.
Now, at this point, there is only one more check up here that we haven't seen, and that's the Crystal Sword Altar. If it's not one of your required bosses, do you go back to the Earth or do you start taking things on to get more key items?
You've got checks still to make. You've still got the giant. You've got the Twin Harp. You've got the package. You go back to the Earth, I feel.
And some folks in chat calling out the Zot 1 check. That is a check that is available to us. It always feels bad when it's not required. But speaking of required, here is a Rubicant. This is the last boss we need.
And you are not afraid of Rubicante in this particular spot. The magic power is pitiful. Yeah, it hits hard, but you're not going to see the punch.
But we are going to eat a spoon in his face, because we just don't want to deal with all of this HP. Yeah, that glare,
Cecil laughed. I know it's Golbez's thing usually, but Cecil laughed.
well, he learned it from his big brother. Now, Dr. Cossack doing this check first. Gonna find this and then going to find the D-lunars there in the ribbon room. So, gonna be a quick couple of checks.
Dart for a dart.
I mean, it's kind of like the spoon that you just threw. But I'm curious to see where Elvin is going to go because we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we do have 10. We have 10 key items. I don't know that Elvin is at Z ready levels.
I don't think so either. Close, but not quite there. But you don't need a lot. We've got Rosa with Cure 4. Well, we've got Porum that can shore up a little bit of the healing as well. Cecil does have an X-Scale, and Edge is fairly well equipped as well. I think this is this does seem like a just go moment. It's dangerous for sure, but it is a fight that's perfectly winnable.
And we also are on our way to Zeromus, and we've got some flags in chat, and we have a couple of questions we need to ask. Tonight, would you like to do the honors, Poydrak?
In the name of the moon, we shall punish who?
And does it have a hat?
Yes.
But for those of you who are just tuning in and have never seen this before, Zeromus is too big, too bad. Nobody wants him at Outlion. But he likes to be randomized. He likes to cosplay. So he's got over 570 outfits, most of which were designed by our lovely Scala Kitty, our art director. So let's see who Zeromus is cosplaying as tonight.
Currently we're over 580 now, so yeah, Scala just keeps adding things and adding things and adding things. Because we can. Who do we have here?
Erg.
Metal Sonic. No hat.
No hat. Nice shoes, though.
Yeah, gotta give him that. That was the fast shake. Good luck, Elvensorrow.
Yeah, this Zeromus is got places to go. Does get the Silk Web out. That is going to nerf the first Big Bang, but that is not who you want to see get hit. But Tella doing work.
Yeah. Might not survive this Big Bang, but he's done his job. Now it's all down to how much damage can Cecil and Edge put out. Drcossack is currently resetting out of White Spear, just about to find his D-Lunas, so he is not too far behind. Given how dangerous this fight is for elvensorrow, this is by no means a sure thing for a win right now. Drcossack still has a very big chance.
Yep. Z's second Big Bang can do up to 2,700, and I only see one character on the board that has more than 2,700 health, so you're hoping that we dodge some of these rolls. But sometimes Z just says, no, you are going to take all of this damage.
Does have a good setup for being able to nerf the Big Bang, but I think he might be in the second phase now. Yeah, that was 3 hits from Cecil between the shake and that third hit. So yeah, we are in the second phase now. He's got a good amount of damage output. I don't think he's going to avoid this second shake here into Big Bang, but he's got a good if he can survive this, it's going to put him in good stead.
Yep, and there's the Big Bang. We see who is going to live through this. Everybody that we needed to.
Yeah. Having Rosa survive, I've to be able to get out that cure for is great. Having Cecil, we knew Cecil was going to survive, but having Edge survive that, he was probably the hardest one to stay up in that particular Big Bang moment. And yeah, him staying up just means the damage keeps pouring out.
We did see the black hole come out, but I think with this Berserk coming back out on that edge, we should be in good shape to push to rocks. There's rocks. Other than something absolutely terrible happening, I think Elvensorrow has this in the bag.
Yeah,
It's done.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. That suddenly sneaks up on us, didn't it?
But that is Elvensorrow, the winner of tonight's match, with an official time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 55 seconds. And I do believe with that ding, we are joined by Elvensorrow. GG's to you.
Thank you. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good because this is a match that I did not think I would win.
Well, tell us a little bit what you thought about that seed. Kind of what made you choose to fade some things, check some things?
I felt behind for a lot of it, and I faded like the longer checks, like Twin Heart Package, those things. And I almost, because I felt behind, I almost wanted to go do that. But when I saw that Mom Bomb in the Fey March, I had a feeling that maybe Doc would fade that. So I'm like, I'm going to take that. And then, of course, that's where the Darkness Crystal was.
Yep, that definitely holding the value. And then knowing that you had so many bosses that you'd already seen.
Yeah, and then the top of tower, I faded that because I'm like, it says 50-50 at this point because it could be Elements or Ruby. And then I was like, I'll come back to it later. And then when I went to check it, of course, it was Elements. But I'm like, I'm just going to reset out of this. I'm going to go to the moon.
And the moon definitely holding two of those bosses. Go ahead, Poydrek.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with how smooth everything seemed in your play. It didn't seem like you had you felt like you didn't have too much in the way of danger with anything that's going through. Did you feel similar?
I did not feel similar. One thing that really upset me is I found the X-Cal, and when I went through the hook, I forgot to equip the X-Cal because the lightsaber makes the same noise. And I'm like, why is Cecil doing such little damage? But then I remembered it, and I was stuck on Battle Speed 3 for a while, and there was just a lot that I felt so behind. Like, I know I didn't play like the worst, but it felt sloppy to me, I guess.
Definitely didn't seem like it on my side, but yeah, we did see that X-Cal, that lightsaber to X-Cal exchange just around the Dwarf Castle area, but didn't hold you back too much. You got through the fights, and didn't hold you back too much.
And then I know that the D-Lunar fight, I got a little scared. I just went in there and Bacchus, and I got a little bit lucky, I think, because I forgot how much the viruses actually hurt there. But I was able to get through it.
Sometimes you just have to Bacchus wine and win. I've done that plenty of times.
But yeah, I was getting a little scared, and I'm like, come on, Cecil, come on, Edge, you got this, right? Because I think everyone was down, but I had the Zerks going, but there's no way you can recover if they're both Zerked, right? And so I got a little nervous, but they took care of it.
Well, and they had to just split that damage perfectly. They couldn't just focus fire one of them.
Yeah. And then that's the thing too, is like, I'm like, come on guys. And then when the fires started coming out, I'm like, or the fires or the flames or whatever, I'm like, oh man, am I gonna be able to survive this? But luckily I did.
Well, GG's to you. Do we know who your next opponent is?
I believe, I don't know my next opponent, but I believe there was a match. If it's already happened, I don't know the result, but I believe it's between Noob Tree and Big Dunka. I believe that's one of those two. I believe that's who I'll be fighting.
That will actually be tomorrow at 6 p.m. So you'll, I'm sure, be on the edge of your seat trying to see who am I going to have to take out next.
Yeah, I paid for the whole seat, but I only need the edge.
Well, he did some work for you today.
Goodness.
But yeah, I'm excited to fight both of them. I don't think I've ever had a race against Big Dunka, and I know Noob Tree is very new to this, but Noob Tree, both of them are absolutely amazing people, so I'll be happy to race against either one of them.
And we'll look forward to it once it all comes together. Either you against Noob Tree or you against Big Dunka. We'll be ready for it.
I just hope I'm ready for it, because neither one of them are a slouch, so I just gotta practice and get my A game on.
Well, we'll be rooting for you, and we're just so thankful that you let us put you on Restream tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank everyone, like Poydrak, Ali, Dubword, Scala, like all you guys. Like, did I miss anyone? But all you guys, it's always amazing to get the Restream, and then you make it so flawless. Like, it's always so easy to work with. So thank you to all you guys.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure to get to talk with runners and just get to meet so many new and awesome people here in the community.
Also, I do want to say though, good game to Dr. Cossack. We had a lot of banter together, but it was a very good game. Doc, I love you. You might not love me right now, but you'll love me tomorrow.
And yeah, speaking of Dr. Cossack, he did go ahead and forfeit, but totally understandable. And he has made a great run, so GG's to him. Just get your GG's in chat. And yeah, Poydrak?
Yeah, we are done for this now. elvensorrow has won. He's going through. We are not ending. Well, we are ending this particular stream, but we're not ending your Free Enterprise coverage. We are going to be going over to Free Enterprise 2 for the race against Beer Nerd and IKEA. Normal things. Do not spoil this race. Other people may want to watch it later on without knowing who won and who lost. And yeah, if you do, we have newspapers ready to be fired out of cannons.
I've just got my new newspaper cannon ready. So, but really, y'all, just be good to each other. Just be good, because y'all are awesome and we love you. Thank you again to Scala Kitty, to Dubword, and to my co-commentator Poydrak. It is always a pleasure to just get to banter and talk with you.
Always a pleasure to speak with you as well.
With that, y'all have a wonderful night. Later.
See you soon.
Good night.